different tense that represents some space in the past that may continue into the present or even into the future. For example, have lived as is in the, in the image is an expression or situation that began in the past, but it's probably that you have lived in the same house for 15 years and you are right now in your house. So it started in the past and may continue now and possibly into the future. So we use the present perfect to talk about things that started in the past but were not completed. You have not finished that action. These things continue up to the present and may continue into the future, as in the picture. We also use present perfect to talk about past experiences. For example, an experience. I have been to Jamaica. That's an experience. Or I have eaten sushi. Or I have cooked lasagna. That's an experience. I'm talking about something that I did in the past. Okay, but it's an experience. It's not just past, it's an experience. More examples. She has lived in Soledad for 15 years. In this expression, she, that is the subject, we are saying that that person started living in Soledad 15 years ago, but it's probably that she lives in Soledad right now. It's not a completed or finished action. It began in the past but continued into the present. Another example, I have been to Jamaica for 3 weeks. I have been to Jamaica for 3 weeks. I mean that I was in Jamaica sometime in the past during 3 weeks, but it was an experience, so I used present perfect. But how can we make present perfect sentences? Well, we form the present perfect with the verb have for I, you, we, and they, or the verb has for he, she, or it, and the past participle of the verb. Remember, the past participle of the verbs are here in blue, and past participle of regular verbs are finished in ed, but irregular verbs finish in the third column of the irregular verbs. In Spanish. Recuerden muchachos, para formar el present perfect utilizaremos dos elementos. Número uno, utilizaremos have o has como auxiliar, el elemento que está en rojo. Dependerá de qué sujeto tenga la oración para saber si voy a usar have o has. Y luego la acción principal va en pp, en past participle, que para los verbos regulares va a ser el mismo verbo pero terminado en ed. Si es un verbo irregular de la lista que hemos estudiado, debes utilizar la tercera forma del verbo irregular. Let's see some examples. Okay, affirmative sentences. Here we have two examples about affirmative sentences. Work is a regular verb, so we have worked at home for 2 weeks. We have worked at home for 2 weeks. I use have because the subject is we, and work as a regular verb finish in ed. I have worked. The second example here is irregular, so the past participle is heard. I use has, he has, because has is the form of the verb have for the third person, he, she, and it. So he has heard strange sounds in the kitchen. He has heard strange sounds in the kitchen. These are examples of affirmative sentences in present perfect. Remember, have or has and the past participle. How about negative sentences? For negative sentences, we use have not or has not, but we currently use hasn't or haven't. These expressions, these short or contracted forms, are more common. For example, she hasn't read 50 Shades of Grey. She hasn't read 50 Shades of Grey. En el caso de las oraciones negativas, el has y el have va a cambiar a la forma hasn't o haven't. Y solamente cambia ese auxiliar. El verbo seguirá usándose en la forma de past participle, participio pasado. Por eso cuando se lee no dice she hasn't read, sino she hasn't read. Recuerden que read es un verbo irregular. She hasn't read 50 Shades of Grey. Another example. They haven't found the keys yet. They haven't found the keys yet. Find is also an irregular verb. And remember, find, found, found. Found is the past participle of the verb find. So they haven't found the keys yet. What about questions? Questions are done with the verb have or has at the beginning, after the subject, and then the past participle. In this case, this question is, have you eaten sushi? Have you eaten sushi? ¿Has comido sushi? Pero si tú quieres preguntar exactamente si ha tenido la experiencia, si alguna vez lo has hecho, utilizamos la expresión ever. Ever solamente lo utilizarás cuando quieres preguntar si alguien ha hecho alguna vez alguna cosa. Have you ever eaten sushi? ¿Alguna vez has comido sushi? Es diferente de have you eaten sushi? ¿Has comido? El ever sería como alguna vez has hecho tal cosa. ¿Ok? So,